Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is your weekly WWE NXT review. I am LK from KocoSports.net, KocoSports.net. Also, this is the second installment of LK's Wrestling Review. We're also modding up this channel a lot. There's going to be names for shows and etc. etc. I want to thank Sammy for Sammy Slaughterhouse these past few days. Check out earlier on today, I did a SmackDown Live review. That show got a huge win from me. But more importantly, this week's NXT, do you, the Internet Infantry, give the show a win? Do you give the show a loss, or do you give the show a tie? I'm struggling here, guys. I really am. I don't know if I'm going to give it a tie or a loss. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. It was just very recappy. It felt like I was watching a highlight version of the NXT Takeover show of a couple of free matches. It felt like I was watching an episode of Superstars. You know, there was two matches that were okay, nothing special, more enhancement matches. And then there was the highlights of the Takeover, which is for Superstars, feels like for Raw. The plus side is, after Saturday's 2-hour NXT, after the 4, 5, 6 hour SummerSlam, after the 3-hour Raw, then the 2-hour SmackDown last night, it was nice to be able to watch a show in about 20 minutes. I waited till about 1:30. I knew this show only had 2 matches. I knew they weren't going to be very long, so I thought I'd wait till 1:30 to watch it. aka that's my time. NXT normally airs from 1 till 2. However, I decided to watch it at 1:30 from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to break it down. A shout out to WrestlingInc.com. I have no affiliation with them at all. It's just the results site that me and Dave Coco usually use. So we'll get straight down to it. The show started off with a look back at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2 as a whole. Okay show. Not the best NXT Takeover they've ever had, but still a very good show. Out of the weekend, when I mean the weekend, I mean NXT Take. I'm not including Evolve, which I did review. Check that out. NXT Takeover, SummerSlam, Raw, and SmackDown. I would say SmackDown was the best show out of the lot. And that's a fucking shoot. I bet you would never think those words would come out of my mouth. I thought Takeover was great. But maybe because I watched SmackDown in the afternoon and I watched Takeover at fucking 3, 1 a.m. in the morning, it might be a bit of a difference. I just thought my expectations for the main events in particular were a lot higher than what they actually delivered. Whereas SmackDown, my expectations were very low and they very highly delivered. So maybe that's one reason. But yeah, they did run it down. The whole match, it took a while. But the show is from Brooklyn, obviously the Barclays Center. It was taped before the NXT TakeOver event actually took place. And as a whole, by the way, I give NXT TakeOver Brooklyn a win. It wasn't a strong win. It was a win. But the standard for NXT is a lot higher. So we have Wesley Blake. He comes out to this piano rock theme. 2 boos. You have Dillinger who comes over, and he's pretty over with these 10 chants. I'm going to be honest. Blake's a 0 chant I thought was pretty damn funny. But there was things in here that made me chuckle. You had Tye Dillinger do this fucking awful cartwheel. And I mean an awful cartwheel, and he got a 10 chant. I'm like, guys, you do realize that was one of the shittest cartwheels you've ever seen in your goddamn life, and you're chanting 10 like imbeciles. We're not at Full Sail, ladies and gentlemen. We're not at Full Sail. Jesus. But Dillinger got the win when he took his knee pad off and hit a tiebreaker, it was called, which was basically Adam Cole and AJ Styles do it. It's basically if they're in the attitude adjustment position or the whatever the fuck Death Valley driver position or fireman's carry, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then he basically throws him over his head and just puts his knee out. It looks really nasty with the knee pad off. I didn't like how he set up to it because he just stumped on the head and then basically signaled it. I wish he hits maybe a running shining wizard and then points at the knee, like slaps a knee, slaps a knee, slaps a knee, slaps a knee, and then pulls it down. I think that could be a lot better for him, but he'll work on this. And obviously, it's great to see Tye Dillinger get wins. We used to mock him, and not mock him as an insult. We used to call him Tight Enhancement Dillinger on this channel an awful lot. So it's good to see him getting wins on NXT. Wesley Blake can go fuck himself. Quite frankly, I'm going to be honest. I have no time for this guy. I think his tag team sucked. I was always a fan of Buddy Murphy during that tag team run. Don't believe me, go watch the classic NXT reviews that me and Boom Booms and sometimes Dave Coco did. And as a whole, I just think he sucks. I'm not a fan of one Wesley Blake. The way he looks, this may be one horrible thing to say, and you may judge me on this, but the way he looks pisses me off. I don't know if he does that on purpose, but he comes out with this look on his face like he has a speech impediment. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a speech impediment, but he comes out and he looks like he's got a speech impediment. He looks a bit like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. That's no insult. He should, if he came out with a walking stick and his entrance, okay, is Europa. Now, if any of you have watched the 10-hour loop of Gandalf's head nod, If you do not know what I mean, okay, right, here's a task for internet infantry to my loyal listeners listening out there. Pause this video a minute. Open up a tab. Well, don't pause it now. Obviously, pause in a minute. I tell you to. Go on YouTube.com. Type in Gandalf head nod. Enter. Pause me. Click it. Play. Watch. Oh, it's the funniest thing ever. When I see Wesley Blake, that's who he reminds me of. Gandalf and Gandalf's head nod. So if Wesley Blake made a YouTube video which was 10 hours long of him going, like, I would literally think he's the man. He'd be my main man. I'd buy Wesley Blake merchandise. I would run wesleyblake.com. I'd be the biggest Wesley Blake fanboy you've ever seen in your life, but that's not the case. It's at all. But Tye Dillinger does get the one which makes you happy. We have a recappage package of Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas from NXT Takeover. Bobby Roode's entrance was fucking glorious, wasn't it? But that was awful. Bobby Roode's entrance was fucking awesome. I love how he descended from the sky godlike. I thought it was absolutely magnificent. And the song is so catchy. It's one of those things that you could have that as your phone theme, you know, your ringtone. And then you're at work, it's all silent. And then glorious, I will give in. Just imagine that. That would be the funniest, most ice-breaking moment ever. That would be absolutely magnificent. I wish someone did that on YouTube, made a video of that. Like, there's a load of friends and it's really intense. They're all staring at each other, and then someone's phone goes off and it's Bobby Roode's theme song. There was a YouTube video on WWE.com that was the Glorious Bomb, it's called, where Johnny Gargano and Ciampa keep waking Bobby Roode up to it, and it was absolutely fucking hilarious. They hype TM61 versus the Authors of Pain for tonight's show. Then we have a flashback to Brooklyn again, talking about Aries and Jose. I thought it was a decent opener. I really, really did. My expectations weren't very high, even though we were on the fence about which Aries would we get. Would we got Austin Average Aries or Austin Awesome Aries? I feel we got Austin Awesome Aries. That's just my opinion. Then we had another video package of Asuka and Bayley. Obviously, Asuka defended her women's championship and successfully defended her women's championship against Bayley. I thought it was an okay match. My expectations were a bit higher, just a little bit. Also, Ember Moon, she was involved in a backstage gimmick where she hugged Bayley. You know, I did this Ember Moon. Obviously, I wasn't on the NXT Takeover review. But I'm a big fan of Ember Moon. I mean, when she came out, I'm looking at her like, who the fuck is this jobber? But then once she started working, I thought, you know what? She's actually very good. I loved her finisher off the top where she jumped off the top and hit a spinning stunner. I thought that was absolutely magnificent. I was a huge fan of that. And Asuka, you know, her title run's been a bit flat. Like, the reaction to her, like, if you actually listen to her reaction from the crowd, it's not very high. I mean, she had okay matches with Bayley, but I'm not getting it. I'm not feeling it, is the word I was trying to use. They're not getting feeling. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling her title reign. And I'm worried about the NXT women's division because they've taken everyone. They took Carmella. They took Alexa Bliss. They took I'm not like most girls, Alexa Bliss. I'm not like most girls. Like, they've taken a lot of them. And it's just scary to just sit back and think, who the fuck do they have left? Okay, they have Ember Moon. I mean, do they have Emma come back and then challenge Asuka again? Do they have Dana Brooke come back and challenge again? I mean, that is always a possibility that you could have Dana Brooke come back down to NXT. That's a possibility. I'd be happy either way. I really would. I mean, I'd be happy that Emma would get a chance again to shine. But then the second time, I'd be a bit angry and a bit upset that she would be back in NXT. So what's your opinion? Do you think Emma on return should go straight to the main roster or come back to NXT for a few weeks, maybe challenge Asuka when she does return, just to get, back in ring shape, and then also have a fucking profile feud with the Women's Championship? They talk about the best match of the night by far, Gargano and Ciampa versus the Revival. It was an okay match. That was match of the night. Fuck off. That wasn't okay. That was match of the night. It was absolutely spectacular. I absolutely loved it. I loved every second of that match. Absolutely superb. Watch it. Main event of Takeover was Nakamura versus Joe. And I hate this review, ladies and gentlemen. I think this has been an absolute shocker. Because of the simple fact, like this, I'm reading results from a show that happened last week because nothing happened on NXT. Do not watch NXT. This week's NXT featured 2 matches which you can watch in 15 minutes. maybe less. Don't watch this week's NXT, guys, please. My tie has now turned to a loss after recapping this because I skipped all this, but having to read it to you guys is an absolute fucking travesty. So they showed you Nakamura and Joe. You know, Nakamura's entrance, ladies and gentlemen, do I need to say any more? Like, those violins, absolutely spectacular. Nakamura now the first ever Japanese NXT champion. Looking forward to seeing his title run. Obviously, Joe's going to get a rematch, but interested to see who's after. Maybe Bobby Roode or Austin. Well, Bobby Roode's going to... We'll say Austin Aries and Kenta or Hideo Itami. We'll say that's next. My feud that I want to see is Hideo Itami versus Shinsuke Nakamura. That could be awesome. Then in the main event, you had TM61 versus Authors of Pain. I thought the Authors of Pain got a lot more offense in than most. Not Authors of Pain, sorry. TM61 got a lot more offense than most. They really, really did. And I wasn't expecting them to get that much offense. I'll be honest, when they came out, I'm thinking, oh, fuck me, TM61, you may as well just bury your own graves now. You're about to get buried. That didn't happen. I'm going to be honest, that didn't happen. It was a highly competitive match. It was okay. It was probably one of the best Authors of Pain matches yet. The crowd were not giving a shit because I just don't care about Authors of Pain. Like, the only thing that they've done is they have Paul Ellering with them. Some crowd members just don't even know who he is or react to him at all. Like, their theme music is scary. Well, I did like their entrance. They came out. They looked like absolutely fucking badasses. They looked like absolutely monsters and machines. So I will give them that. But apart from that, I mean, their in-ring work is okay. I mean, they do their job, which is go out there and look like they're killing their opponents, which is their job. So I'll let them off with that. But I just don't see what's great about these. I mean, Vince, I can picture loving these men. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if the 8th team, this 8-man tournament on SmackDown Live next week, in the tournament to crown SmackDown Tag Champs, if it was Authors of Pain, it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't shock me because I could picture Vince looking at that match, being at the tapings and being like, look at them, look at the size of those muscles, Paul, look at them. Look at them. Like, I could picture him being like very excited about the size of their muscles. But, you know, each to their own. Each to their own. It was an okay match. The Authors of Pain got the win after they hit the double powerbomb into each other. And then, what do they call him? Akam? Akam is his name? I'm sorry. I don't know their names particularly very well because they don't tell you their names. It pisses me off. Like, NXT, it's taking, like, when I watch NXT, I'm expecting high standard of everything being written, the way the wrestlers act. Everything I'm expecting is at a higher standard, which is wrong because it's developmental. But the way I look at it in my brain is NXT is the superior one. And when I don't know these guys' names, that's not good enough. Like, I don't know anything about these people, their background, their heritage. Is there any? Did they play sports? I don't know nothing about these people. Now, that, again, you could say is, hey, it's a good thing they're monsters. You're not meant to know much about these people. But then again, at the same time, it's like, do I now not give a fuck about these people? You know, each their own. I'm going to give the show a loss at the end. Like, my God, there was a lot of recaps. But what can you do? Hopefully next week we go back to the norm. That will be what's best for business. Thank you very much. Going to see if we have any live comments. I'm not expecting any live comments. Not a lot of people watching live. And I apologize, this isn't the best review. It's just there's nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about. Nothing happened on this show. Please, can someone tell me what happened? Nothing. Absolutely goddamn nothing. It's a fucking joke. Of course, the internet decides to slow down when I load up live comments. It's just the way Google fucks me in the arse, isn't it? The mighty Google machine controls everything. And now the whole thing, my whole phone has now frozen. Just to make my day just that much better, my phone decides to freeze. So now I have to fucking load up on this fucking laptop, for fuck's sake. If there's no live comments, guys, I'm going to be very sad. Unbelievable. So, guys, put in the comments win, loss, or tie. If you listen to this post show, put win, loss, tie, and give a reason why. Don't just put win or strong win. Put strong win because I think this show was awesome. Because let me hear you, and I respond to every single comment there is. Like on my last review, there was about 5-6 comments. I responded to every single one. Now, I hope, ladies and gentlemen, and I pray that there's some live comments, or I just made an absolute dick of myself. Here we go. Right, that's paused. Live comments. Come on, my son. Come on. Come on, bring them on. Bring them on. Ronnie S. I think Emma should stay on SmackDown. That was referring to my question earlier on about which brand should Emma be on. And I made a point of should Emma go back down to NXT. Ronnie S., my main man, commenting there, holding the fort down. I do agree. That is a good point. Emma should go to SmackDown Live, help that SmackDown's women's division out, because let's be honest, it isn't the best women's division that they've ever had. I mean, Raw has Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte. SmackDown, you got Becky Lynch, who I'm not really that high on, Nikki Bella, and Naomi, and Natalia is a push. I mean, Alexa Bliss and Carmella, and I like Carmella's heel turn. But yeah, Emma could fit SmackDown mold right there. I do agree with that. So thank you, Ronnie S., for not making me look like an imbecile. I hope you appreciate how long that took me to get to your question, and thank you for leaving that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this show. Apologies, it's not very long. It's just there's nothing to goddamn talk about. NXT, you disappoint me. NXT, you disappoint me. So with that being said, from this very sad and now depressed young Englishman, make sure you check out KocoSports.net. Make sure you buy Dave Coco's book. Make sure you check out us on Twitter, twitter.com/KocoSports. That's for Dave. For myself, it's twitter.com/LKWrestling. Also check out my YouTube channel, which is LK's Video Network, where I'm playing games. I'm playing Formula 1. I'm playing WWE. I'm doing my old series like WWE 99 on there. Also check out Coco's Punk and Cheese. Also check out Coco's Coco Plays, where he plays baseball really badly and talks about culture and things like that. So head over and subscribe to all of them. My friend Rastin Rantin, please check out his YouTube channel. He's absolutely magnificent historian of the wrestling industry. More importantly, stay safe. More importantly, stay well, because sometimes it is a tragic world out there. But I'll be damn sure catching your asses down the line.